Hey, it's Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show. Most people know me as the foul-mouthed shock jock from the Classic Metal Show, or the no-nonsense heavy metal critic from pitriff.com. Now you get to learn the other side. My first book, Little Victories, A Tale of Divorce, Debauchery, and Finding Happiness, comes out on January 13th in paperback and digital formats on Amazon and iTunes. It details my real-world emotional struggles over a year that included a divorce after a quarter-century of marriage and the death of my father. It profiles things I did right, as well as a bevy of things that I did wrong with the help of alcohol, and how I found my way out of the muck of the emotional state that almost saw me commit suicide. Pre-order your copy of Little Victories, A Tale of Divorce, Debauchery, and Finding Happiness today at www.chrisaikenbooks.com and get in touch with the more fallible side of me, Chris Aiken. Sounds happy, huh?
All right, well, getting back to another band that I used to play years ago.
Okay.
Here's a question, because we did this on the show years ago. This is actually made that doc and DVD of the video release, the video compilation release that they released on Rhino Records.
Okay.
We were talking about Aerosmith and Cinderella, how many albums that they had, studio albums, and how many live albums they had.
Right, sure.
And Cinderella only had 4 studio albums.
Right.
But they have how many, 8 or 10 live best of greatest hits, whatever.
I think they have more than that, but let me look.
They've got 3 times more live and greatest hits albums than they had total albums.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely, it's almost sad. In fact, it's not almost.
It is sad.
It's sad.
But Cinderella Stripped live album is coming out in May.
Right.
Okay.
This is great. Cinderella discography has a full breakdown. You ready for this?
Yeah, I think you did this once.
No, I did, but not in this breakdown.
Okay.
They just have the stats broken down.
Okay.
They must have heard our broadcast and put it together for us. Studio albums, 4.
Yeah. So all we had was Cinderella, Night Songs. Then we had Long Cold Winter.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Heartbreak Station, and then Still Climbing, and that's it.
Right. Live albums, 10.
10 live albums?
Yeah, 10.
Holy shit. Hail and Kill Caller, you're on the air.
Can I comment on the Cinderella thing?
Please.
Sure.
Okay, because I saw this article today, and it pissed me off.
It pissed you off, all right. Did you actually have an emotional reaction to this?
I may have smacked my hand on the desk irritably, yes.
Okay. What's your take on this?
Well, you notice it says it was recorded at the Key Club in Los Angeles, and, such and such dates, 1998.
Yeah, I thought they released this one already.
Yes, I think it's just a repackaging, and they just changed the song order from the Live at the Key Club disc.
Yeah, because I have this CD, Cinderella Live from the Key Club.
Is it unplugged?
No.
See, the new one, I think, is unplugged. Like, maybe they played one night of unplugged and one night of plugged in.
Well, that's what I thought, too, but it doesn't seem that way. And it just seems like the exact same songs in a different order, and it says it was recorded over 2 nights. And I don't know. It just the word stripped makes it sound like it's, unplugged. That I don't think it is. And then the 2 bonus tracks are from some bootleg that's been circulating for, fucking decades.
It's awesome.
God, what is wrong with these guys? It's like years ago, yes, they had record label problems that kept them from recording, but that got ironed out, to my understanding, decades ago.
Well, but what it was is that they were signed to Sony Portrait, and as far as they were concerned, or Sony was concerned, they were still signed to Sony no matter what.
Mm-hmm. But I thought that got settled or ironed out at some point, like 2002 or 4 or something.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
No, Kiefer told me when I interviewed Kiefer for that album, last year?
Yeah,
I guess it was
just 8 months ago.
Yeah, whatever that was, he told me flat out that they can't. If they put out a Cinderella record, it has to go through the record company. And that's why they don't do it.
Wow. Because I was thinking that already got taken care of.
Well, I know it went to court. I know there was a lawsuit about it. But I don't know what the result was or if it ever really got settled. And
no, the result is that they can't release anything under the Cinderella brand. That's why.
Wow.
That's why they're not putting this record out. I guarantee you that the record company's putting this record out.
Well, it's under some weird imprint, like Collector's Wet Dream or something like that.
Yeah, which will be some bullshit that's tied to Sony. I'll bet you anything. I'll bet you anything that it's some. I'll bet it ain't the band putting it out. That's for sure.
Because I was all set to call up here and just blast them for being lazy and waiting for some major label deal to come along. That's not going to come along in 2014 for a Cinderella or something like that. But
see, it's twofold why they're not doing records. One, they've got this record company thing sticking over their head, which ultimately I don't know why they just don't put out a record and get rid of the record company. All they got to do is do a record. That's all they have to do, and then they'll be out of their contract. So they should just do it, take the low money, and then go from there. But Kiefer told me that's why I asked Kiefer straight out when I interviewed him if these songs would have been Cinderella songs, and he was like, yeah, but he can't do that. So he just did it himself under his own name.
Well, that sucks. I wonder how many, if the band kind of pulled a Tom Petty where the rest of the band actually played on it, but it wasn't made a big deal out of, and it was a solo record.
Yeah, who knows? But I know this. From listening to that Tom Kiefer record, there might not be that much gas left in the tank anyway. That record was okay, but
wasn't it?
It was okay, but it wasn't that good. I mean, it wasn't memorable.
No, I mean, anymore, our old favorites, what can they do that's going to stack up against, Long Cold Winter or whatever quintessential album from any band?
See, but I'm not going to agree with you there either, Doghouse, because I'll tell you what, as much as we over-talk about this band and probably over-promote them sometimes, when Dokken came back with Lightning Strikes Again, that stands up against everything.
Okay.
It's better than everything but the first, two albums.
Okay, well...
and Testament is still putting out good records. Anthrax put out the best record of their career last time.
How about Accept in their last two records?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are bands doing it.
Sure, but there's a reason Dokken called it Lightning Strikes Again, because lightning's not ever supposed to strike twice.
Right.
Sure.
Well,
but occasionally it happens.
Well, how about Anthrax Worship Music?
Oh, hell yeah.
That thing ripped your face off.
Best album they ever did.
The two Accept albums with Mark Tornillo, hell yes.
Yeah.
But then for every one of that, you get, Faster Pussycat, The Power and the Glory Hole, or, Nostradamus.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some that can do it because, I mean, there are definite, like Overkill. I don't know if you're an Overkill fan or not, but they've only been getting better.
Yeah, hell yeah. I don't even really think Overkill really got going until Horoscope.
See, I go even later. I've liked everything from when they were on CMC. That from the Underground and Below up that's my favorites of their catalog.
Yeah, I love from the Underground and Below and Necroshine are two of my favorites.
Yeah, Killbox and 10 whatever the one is, something 13, and they're all
Killbox
good.
13.
Yeah, Killbox 13. Those are all good records.
Sure, and Testament. Good God.
Yeah. So there are bands that still have juice. What I think is the big problem with that band, with Cinderella, or maybe it's just Kiefer, I don't know, whoever's writing the songs, they took too long of a gap. Now they're trying to sound like they used to sound like instead of being in a creative space.
It's not going to be the same. They're not going to have the same deal. They're not going to make the same money. It's like they want it to be 1988 or whatever again, and it's not.
Right.
Speaking of all that sort of thing, you saw the press release about the new Tesla release, right?
Yeah, the simplicity that it's going to be a throwback to the old days. Never heard that before.
That's what they say. And you saw Frank Hannon's description of the first song, which is called MP3, something about how some technology and how he missed simplicity in vinyl albums and family values. Oh, shit.
Family values? I didn't see that. Ugh.
Yes, that's the quote. Vinyl albums and family values.
Yeah, family values from a band that's riddled with guys that have had drug problems.
Yeah.
Good one.
Family values. Sounds like a fucking Rick Santorum campaign song.
I don't know, but that Taste My Pain song was pretty good.
Aside from the fact that it name-checked all these old Tesla songs, just like Jeff Keith's country song did.
Oh, I don't know. That doesn't sound very compelling at all.
No. But I don't know. I'm finding myself more and more lately, these old bands, I kind of just want to remember them the way they were.
I agree with that. I mean, I think we'll always listen to the whatever they put out once, and then we throw a lot of them up on the shelf and just it's there if we ever really want to hear it again, I guess.
Yeah, and it just makes it all that much more, all that sweeter when somebody like an Accept or an Anthrax comes along and just really just blows the fucking doors off.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
Okay, that's all.
All right, hail and kill.
Fuck you, pal.
All right.
All right. By the way, I just did a recount. Even though it said 10, that doesn't include the new record.
Okay.
So that would be 11.
11 live records.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 compilation albums.
So 18 live and greatest hits or compilations over 4 CDs.
That's right. Seems fair.
So they've multiplied their 4 studio albums 4 times.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Hey, you want to play it here? Watch this game. I'll name the years that things were released that are not original albums from Cinderella. It's almost yearly.
Okay.
It's almost yearly from 2000 on. Ready for this?
Go ahead.
1991, Live Train to the Heartbreak Station.
Okay.
I don't remember that, do you?
No.
I don't remember that at all. But now we'll get to the one. 97, Once Upon a, which was the greatest hits.
Yeah, I have that.
Okay. 2000, 20th Century Masters, the best of Cinderella.
Okay.
2001, Live at the King Club.
The King Club?
Or Key, I'm sorry.
Key Club.
Yeah. 2002, Winning Combinations, a split disc with LA Guns.
All right.
2004, Live from the Gypsy Road. Same content as Live at the Key Club CD.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Also in 2004, In Concert. 2005, Live. 2005, Rocked, Wired, and Bluesed.
Yeah,
Their greatest hits.
I remember that one.
2006, Extended Versions. Also 2006, Gold. Also 2006, Gypsy Road, Live.
Again, huh?
Again. No, the other one was Live from the Gypsy Road.
Oh, okay. As if there was a big difference.
This was Gypsy Road Live.
Okay.
Okay. 2008, Nobody's Fool Live. I'd actually like to get that if it's from the first tour. Okay. So 2008, Nobody's Fool Live. 2008, Best Ballads. 2009, Authorized Bootleg, Live Tokyo Dome, Tokyo 1990. 2009, Live at the Mohegan Sun. Then they took a couple years off because maybe they were slightly oversaturating the market a little. So 2012, Live in Moscow.
In Moscow.
Yeah.
Now was that during the what was that thing where all those rock bands went over to Moscow?
Oh, it doesn't have any information on it. Yeah, the what was that?
Skid Row went over there, and Cinderella went, and
Bon Jovi, Motley.
Right.
Yeah, I remember it, but I don't remember what it was called.
Moscow Peace Festival?
The Peace Festival, that's right.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And then finally, 2012, Icon, Cinderella. Damn near every year for the 2000s.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Not bad for a band who hasn't put out original material since 94.
Yeah. How great is that?
Right. Hail and Kill Caller, you're on the air.
Not to wear out my welcome like Motorhead, but the only Cinderella live stuff worth really having is authorized bootleg.
Really?
Because
That's good, huh?
It shows them at the top of their game.
Okay.
Well, was that like early 90s or something?
Yeah, 1990. New Year's Eve.
It was New Year's Eve, 1990.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs from Heartbreak Station, but it's just, they're on top, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tom's not having to struggle to sing. It was before he, had whatever voice problems he had.
I believe I saw this same tour like 4 months later with Winger and the Bullet Boys in Arizona. I'm pretty sure I did. And it was damn good.
I think that was in '89, actually. That tour with Winger and the Bullet Boys.
No, I know I saw it in Arizona, and I wasn't there till 91, 92.
Okay, well, I'll tell you why I think it was '89, because they played in my town, and well, not my town, but a town like 20 miles away, which is rare for this area. But and I was almost going to go. It was going to be my first concert, and the whole thing got canceled because Tom Keeper had laryngitis.
Oh, nice. Sign of things to come.
I think it was going to be like my 9th birthday or something.
Nice.
Your 9th birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my mom tried to win me tickets off the local top 40 station. Of course, if we had actually gone, she would have been shocked by the bad language and chicks splashing their tits and stuff like that. All that 80s metal concert stuff.
Oh, the decadence.
She probably would have snatched me away after 2 songs.
And how bad would that have been that your first concert experience would have resulted in seeing nothing but the Bullet Boys?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, you'd have been ruined. Right now you'd probably be listening to fucking Elvis Costello and shit like that.
It probably would have. And well, we talked about my guilty pleasure file, so it's not far from the truth. But oh well.
Nice.
On that note, I do have a request for a final song this evening for a closing song.
Okay, Through the Rain, Cinderella?
No, actually something totally different. Just I love the lyrics of this song, and just actually I love this guy's lyrics all around. But why don't you leave us, stoned and spacey, and play "Stay Tuned" by Monster Magnet.
All right.
Okay.
All that pop culture commentary.
Sure. All right. Well, we'll do it.
Just listen, you'll get it.
Okay.
Where every piece of dung... Why keep it hard in a flatline world where every piece of dung is the next big thing?
So poetic.
Fuck you, pal.
All right.
So poetic.
All right. So anyway, Collector's Dream Records has set a May 16th release date for Cinderella Stripped, recorded live over the course of 2 nights, October 2nd and 3rd of 1998 at the Key Club in Hollywood.
This is the same record.
Hail and Kill Caller, you on the air.
Hail and Kill, boys. It's Motorhead. Fuck Doghouse.
Okay.
Nah, that's all I got.
All right.
Hail and Kill. Fuck you, pal. Heads up.
Jeez. All right. Oh, yeah. California during the band's Unfinished Business tour. I saw that tour at the Odeon.
Okay.
Actually, I have the official baseball jersey.
Wow.
That they put out for that Unfinished Business tour.
Okay.
The disc is comprised of 14 hard rockin' and blues-based tracks, including, as a bonus, are 2 songs recorded live in 1991.
Wow.
Hail and Kill Caller, you're on the air.
fuck Motorhead. He ain't nothing without Tom. At least I'm somebody without the real Jeff Tate.
Right. This has become the fuck you show.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, fuck you, pal.
Why don't you just leave those two on the line so I can go to bed?
Right. Here we go. The More Things Change, Push Push, Gypsy Road, Falling Apart at the Seams, Heartbreak Station, The Last Mile, Shelter Me, Coming Home, Hot and Bothered, Night Songs, Nobody's Fool, Somebody Save Me, Shake Me, Don't Know What You Got, Sick for the Cure, and Make Your Own Way.
Sounds like every other live record I have.
Yeah, it's all greatest hit stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In a September 2013 interview with Syracuse Music Examiner, Cinderella frontman Tom Kiefer was asked if there were any plans for the band to record a new solo album. Well, we're on a hiatus, he said. It's not for lack of desire on our part, I always say, but it's got to be the right situation. We've been burnt by the record companies a couple of times, and that leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you've put a lot of work into it. It's really the reason why I decided to produce my solo album, independent of a label. You create what you want, and then you find a label who likes what you created, and we found a great label that has been amazing in support of the album.
Yeah, but what he wanted was the same shit he was doing.
Sure.
In 1994. I heard it sounds like, didn't you think it sounded like Heartbreak Station?
It did. It was very much in that vein.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing groundbreaking.
Not at all. Hail and Kill caller, you're on the air.
Well, he's absolutely right. But fuck, bring on the real Jeff Tate then.
All right, stop calling.
Kids.
Okay.
Go to bed, kids.
I am.
Jeez. All right. He
Turn the phones off. No more phones.
All right. He continued, from the record company's perspective, if they're going to invest a bunch of money, that's highly unlikely, into making a record, you don't know what the record's going to be. So in this day and age of limited funds, because of the piracy of music, record companies don't have the same resources that they used to.
Stop with the piracy of music.
Stepping in and paying for the record and then be responsible for all the marketing too. It just makes sense to me to make the record I wanted to create and find a label that listens to the finished product and says, we're in. And more people are doing it that way.
Yeah. Aren't you tired of the piracy of music at this point?
Pretty much, because again, the people downloading your album, they weren't going to buy it anyway.
No, not at all. Nobody, and truthfully, nobody wants physical product anymore. That's
Sure.
the real problem. These guys think that people still want a fucking disc.
Right.
And I know there's the only people that want a disc are guys like you that are old school and collect everything.
Sure.
You know, like me, I'm good. I have no use at all for a CD. I mean, no, I hate when I get them. Honestly, I'm to the point now, even to review stuff, if I get a CD and I don't get a download link, odds are I won't review it. Because I've gotten so lazy that I won't even put it in the machine to rip it. That's just the way it is. But the whole thing with the downloading and, what year is this? It's not that. People aren't downloading this shit anymore. They go to Spotify or whatever.
Right.
Slacker or Pandora or whatever. You can play any of these bands for nothing. And that's what most people do anymore. Most people don't even want to bother having recorded product on their devices anymore.
Sure.
They just want to go online and play the shit.
And that's what they do.
That is what they do. So, Kiefer saying, well, the labels don't have money because of illegal downloading. That's a load of shit.
Yeah.
They don't have money because they've never adjusted their business model, A, and B, because your music just doesn't have the same value anymore.
Right. And good luck getting it played on any kind of commercial outlet.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying, though, dude. The value of, in 1988, a Dokken record was probably worth $3 million. To a record company.
Right.
They would pay Dokken probably, and I know nothing about these numbers, so I am totally making these numbers up, just to be clear. They would probably throw out $1 million advance and then give them 2 million plus points or something, after X has been sold to pay the first $1 million. Isn't that how that worked?
Yeah, something like that.
They would give them a big number up front that would pay for all the production and whatever. And then they would give them, X amount per disc, like 2 points or 5 points or whatever that shit is, after they sold whatever to make their $1 million back. That's how that worked. And that's fine back then. But back then, we were all so hungry for new music that we liked that everybody's willing to buy it, even if they were bad. In the old days, if we bought a bad album, if our band put out a bad record, that made us more hungry for the next record. You know what I mean?
Well, also, there was no other way of getting it except buying the record.
Well, you could tape.
Yeah, but...
You taped. I taped everything as a
sure.
kid. And double boom boxes and stuff. I just think the whole thing with the downloading is overplayed a bit. Because it's no different than... Look, dude, when 8-tracks were out, you could buy recordable 8-tracks. I had one.
Well, I do remember back in 80... Was it like 83 when they started coming out with the dual cassette decks?
Yeah.
And you just tape one from one side to the other?
Yeah, and then they had the kind that had high-speed dubbing. Remember that?
Right.
Recording like 3 times the time or
sure.
3 times less time or whatever.
Yeah, you didn't have to play it at the play speed. You could do it at fast speed.
Right. And so this is the same problem. The difference is that it's not about the way people are getting music. It's about the fact that there's so much more fucking entertainment out there now than there was back then. Back then, you had 3 fucking channels of TV. So you had 3 channels of TV plus your music collection. And if you were stuck at home in the winter, you listened to your music collection or you watched fucking whatever was on 3, 5, and 8. The movie of the week or whatever.
Right.
Well, now you don't have that. Now you've got 1 million fucking channels. You've got... satellite radio, which has 300 channels. You've got Spotify, which has, any music you want to hear. Pandora, which is any kind of channel in the world you want. And with all these different options out there, there's less value in going out and buying the music.
Yeah, it's diluted everything.
Well, most music fans are not hardcore music fans. They're casual fans.
Yeah, exactly.
The kind that wouldn't know that the lineup of Foreigner right now is not the lineup that they remember from 85. The guys that would not realize that Loverboy's not all the same guys. It's just...
They just know the songs.
Yeah, and they know a couple songs, and they'll be like, oh, I loved this back at my high school prom.
Right.
And that's how most music people are. And these bands need to get it through their head that their shit is just not that valuable anymore. There's not a band out there, I don't care who it is, there's not a band out there that's worth $1 million advance anymore.
Right.
None. Not the Rolling Stones, not fucking Justin Bieber, not Lady Gaga, not whatever's popular, Jay-Z. There's none of them because there's no guarantee of making that much money back off that shit.
Sure.
Honestly, the only guy that's probably worth that right now is Eminem. And I'm not an Eminem fan really, but the guy is good for 3 to 5 million sales anytime he puts his name on anything. He's just that kind of a guy. But everybody else in the business right now, nobody wants to put a risk on that, especially an old band that hasn't fucking done something since 90.
Sure.
Hell no. Anyway, enough ranting.
Right. What always stunned me about Cinderella, especially in the last 15 or so years. Yeah. Is not Jeff LaBar, but Eric Brittingham.
Mm-hmm.
He looks nothing like he did back in the day.
Yeah, he had he was like a skinny guy with long, straight blonde hair, right?
Yeah.
And now he's like a goateed guy with black hair and
right.
kind of short hair.
And I've got these pictures of him when they came back on the Unfinished Business tour.
Okay.
And he was really heavy.
Okay.
And still sporting the long blonde hair.
Right.
But he probably was 60 to 80 pounds heavier.
Wow.
And I have a photo. I'll have to dig it out and send it to you. But
Okay.
he looks nothing like he does now.
Really? Yeah, he looks different now. I remember the first time I saw those pictures with him, I thought he was a new bass player.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think it was the same guy.
Totally different.
Yep.
But actually, got a few minutes here. Maybe I'll play a couple of tunes.
All right.
And I'll grab the photo and I'll shoot it over to you, and maybe you could put it up on the Facebook or something.
Yeah, send it over.
So let me play a couple of tunes. But since we're talking about Cinderella, you'd like to hear a Cinderella tune?
I would.
What would you like to hear, sir?
Definitely going to my favorite album by them, which is definitely Heartbreak Station.
Really?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
Absolutely love it.
All right.
And I am going to go with One for Rock and Roll.
Okay.
It's a cool song.
All right. Well, we can do that. All right. Well, we'll play a couple tunes. I'm going to grab this photo and shoot it over to Chris, because when you see Eric Brittenham from 98,
yeah,
what he looks like now, it's just like, is that the same guy?
Yeah, night and day.
It's just pretty crazy. All right. Well, here it is. This is Cinderella. And what is this, Chris?
One for Rock and Roll.
All right. Right here on your Classic Metal Show.